Greetings, everyone, and welcome to On Cloud 9, where Sierra-Cedar and our clients get together to talk about their experiences with the Oracle Cloud applications. My name is Chris Myers. I am a business development executive for Sierra-Cedar's public sector practice. Today on Cloud 9, we will be talking about the city of Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City is the capital of the state of Oklahoma and has a population of just under 700,000. The city employs around 5,000 people. The city has been an Oracle customer since around 2005 when they originally implemented the PeopleSoft applications for HR, payroll, and financial management. An interesting footnote, the city was the first public sector customer to upgrade their PeopleSoft applications to version 9.2 back in 2014. More importantly, they have recently embarked on a journey to implement the Oracle HCM Cloud, which we are going to be talking about today. With me is Stephen Fuller, the Enterprise Program Manager for the city. Thank you for joining us today, Stephen, here on Cloud 9.
Absolutely, Chris. Happy to be here and talk about our experience.
Great. Looking forward to it. Question number one. What led to the city's decision to upgrade PeopleSoft to the Oracle HCM Cloud at this point in time?
Absolutely. So it's like you said, we implemented around 2005. So our system is nearing 20 years old. It has a lot of old configuration. It was designed by people who aren't necessarily at the city anymore. And the city really is trying to modernize how we do a lot of things, how we do payroll, recruiting, bring a lot of standardization to our processes, and as well as some of the net new benefits in a centralized learning management system and getting away from a paper-based performance management system. So when we started looking at PeopleSoft, we realized that a lot of what we wanted to do, while it was somewhat there, Oracle Cloud was really that step up. And Oracle does kind of provide that upgrade pathway to get off of PeopleSoft to Oracle Cloud. So it made sense for us to sort of look at that strategically. Let's start moving to a system that can grow with us as we start changing and standardizing our processes into the future.
That's great. Question number two. The past 18 months have caused a shift in how organizations operate, specifically as it pertains to working remotely. Can you talk about how the Oracle HCM Cloud is expected to benefit the city on that front?
Yes, this is an area where we've had to make a lot of change. It's not often that a government shuts down, but that's exactly what happened to us. We had to shut down critical operations, and so we learned a lot of hard lessons. And the Oracle Cloud, really the lesson we learned is that we have a lot of third-party systems, or we have a lot of things that are behind VPN walls, or just hard for employees to get to. So when we go to the Oracle HCM Cloud, one of our primary project drivers is a centralized unified system, and employees can access that exposed URL anywhere in the world. It could be the library or their home or anywhere, and they can get to those resources, whereas right now you have to kind of go through all these security measures, and it's just cumbersome to get to those things you need operationally. So it's going to be really exciting to have a centralized system for everything to do with an employee.
And are you going to allow your employees to use mobile devices to access the system?
Yes, and that's one of the things we're excited about, because Oracle HCM is device agnostic. So if they have their iPad or their phone, whatever the experience is similar, and so we'll allow them to access these resources at home. And especially when you start talking about giving them access to a learning portfolio or their PE, they're able to access that without paper-based. I definitely think we will.
That's great. That's great. Question number three. I know you've been preparing for this project for a number of months. Can you share some of the activities that the city engaged in to prepare for the project, those phase zero activities, if you will?
Yes. So phase zero, it was very eye-opening for us. We took a step back and we had some surveys and just analysis documents, and we just jotted down how we did business. We queried our system, found out how many pay codes, deductions, how much configuration we really have, and realized we have a lot. We have a lot that's built up over the years. And so having that analysis of how do we do business, how do we wish we did business, what are our pain points, I think put us in a really good place strategically for when we kicked off this project. We already had a lot of the data mining done and knew what we wanted to solve when we went into the project. So it was a critical part of this project that I think is helping us achieve some success.
Right, and it really streamlined that first couple months of the project because you guys had done so much homework getting ready.
Definitely.
Question number 4. You and I have talked a lot about the importance of getting the city employees ready for the change and helping them embrace it. Can you talk about how the city is approaching communications and organizational readiness?
Yes, so this is a big deal for us. It's a big project. So one of the things we want to make sure is that every employee, every department knows. So we set up what we're calling a change agent network, which encompasses people from every part of the city, which, we are a wide city geographically, so we've got employees everywhere. So we wanted to make sure we had a representative from all the different corners of the city. And we're going to meet with them monthly and make sure that we're putting out information to them that keeps them abreast of the project, as well as, exciting things that are coming. That way, it's not just another software system. It's changing how they interact with HR, benefits, payroll, learning, all these different things. So we actually have a kickoff meeting where the employees submitted different project names, and we're going to have a live sort of vote drawing to pick the project name. And that way, it's an employee picked a project name that will be here for a very long time. And we'll be sending out, postcards, posters, making sure employees are engaged in the experience in sort of a 360-degree feedback loop.
Yeah, that's great. I love the branding of the project. That really gives everybody something to rally around and get excited about.
Exactly.
Question number 5. You mentioned earlier the city will be deploying new functions in the area of performance management and learning management. Can you talk about the drivers for this and the city's vision in these areas?
Yes. So to give a little background, we're at a very scary point where 35 to 40% of our employees are eligible for retirement today. So there's that possibility of knowledge just walking out the door. So when we stood back and looked at this strategically, we realized we've got to make some changes. One of those was the performance evaluation process. It's paper-based and it's based on your anniversary date, which is your date of hire usually. And that means that, we have PEs all over the place. They're being submitted by paper. They're often submitted late, cars retro calculations, and there's really there's no calibration to it. So we wanted to stand back and say, how do we make this better? And Oracle HCM has this great module that has, you can meet one-on-one with your employees monthly or quarterly or how often, and build that into their performance evaluation. And that 360-degree feedback loop is so important and critical to the success of the employee. And giving them a platform to do this is not paper. And then for learning, we don't have a centralized learning system now. We have, disparate systems. This will be the first time where we have a centralized learning management system. And the power of that really becomes, if you ask me, what do you want to do when you grow up? And I say, I want to be city manager. Well, how do I get there? Currently, I can, rattle off a few classes to my employees, but with this system, we'll be able to have succession planning as well as, career planning. And if I want to become city manager, here's the classes I have to do to get there. And a manager can enroll me in those classes and sort of give me those steps I need to progress in my career. So it's going to be a really powerful transformation for us.
Yeah, that's really great. And I would imagine that once word gets out that you have that at the city, it might help you with your recruiting process as well.
Definitely.
Takes me to question number 6. The city has made a decision to migrate the recruiting function from NeoGov to the Oracle Recruiting Cloud. Can you talk about the decision to make this move versus just integrating the two applications?
Yes, there's 2 really foundational reasons. The first one goes back to, for the project driver, is one system to rule them all. And with NeoGov and PeopleSoft, it's a disparate system that requires integrations, requires a lot of manual keying between the two. And so we looked at Oracle HCM, or Oracle Recruiting Cloud, and it's integrated. When someone, it's a CRM, so when someone applies for a job, they are already, day one, they're inside the system. And then from, start to hire, that process just is streamlined. And the other part is that it takes a really long time right now to get hired. We're looking at a 2 to 3 month window to get an applicant in the door. And what that usually means is by the time that person's done with their recruiting process, they've accepted a job in the private sector that hires faster than us. So we're hoping that this will allow us to streamline our recruiting process and make it faster for the employee, get out of those paper-based forms. And the day you walk in the door, you're not dealing with orientation issues. You're able to start your job in training. But it should be a really powerful move for us.
Yeah, absolutely. That reducing that time to hire on
Yes.
Today's competitive market is really important. Thanks for sharing that. Question number 7. As the former payroll manager for the city, you have a keen interest in this area. Can you talk about why you were excited about deployment of the Oracle Payroll Cloud?
Definitely. So yes, this is an area that's near and dear to my heart. At the end of the day, payroll has to happen no matter what disaster, what emergency, even normal business operations, you have to pay people. And so one of the things we're looking at doing, or one of the exciting features, I should say, that we're implementing are these process workflows. And so right now, our payroll processing steps might be in Excel or on paper that have to be done critically in order. We're going to build that into the product so that if something happens to the payroll manager or whoever the backup is, or just someone needs to step in, that critical function is still taken care of, and also more efficiently. Just making sure that payroll is always done, because you don't want to be the city that makes the newspapers because you missed a payroll. That will never happen. And so this will really help us with a modern solution, because our payroll area really hasn't seen innovation in a long time. And I think just the modern power of this platform is really going to shine for payroll.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Yeah, we need to make sure everybody gets paid properly, right?
Definitely.
All right, question number 8. We have a common question here on Cloud 9 that we ask each of our guests, and that is, if you had to describe your Oracle Cloud project experience to date with a song, what would it be and why?
So this one, this is easy. I'm so excited by the Pointer Sisters.
And you just can't hide it, right?
Exactly. I talk about this project all the time, and the reason is it's a once-in-a-generation opportunity to reinvent how we do business in HCM. And the reason I say that is we are putting the employees at the center of the design for this product. And that really is why I'm so excited. Yes, it is a lot of work, it's a big project, but when you're designing something that has such a great impact to it, it makes the project fun. It makes it, you want to come to work and do that. Even though it is a lot of work, it's a lot of work that's rewarding. And I think that's really why I really am so excited about this project.
Yeah, that's great. We're excited with you, Stephen. All right, we've arrived at question number 9. What overall advice would you give to those public sector organizations that are considering a move to the Oracle Cloud applications?
So I would say the biggest piece of advice I would have is being open to understanding and knowing your business practices and not being afraid to change. One of the things we saw, especially since we've been using PeopleSoft for so long, is we were doing things, and when we started asking, why are we doing it this way? No one could answer, because no one was around that made those design decisions, back in 2005. And so we realized that the way we were doing things didn't necessarily have to be the way we were doing them. So I think being open to changing and streamlining business processes, and if the answer is because it's always been done that way, that may be a business practice that could change. And the other thing is the phase 0 activities, getting ahead and making sure that when you're about to go on this project, your pain points and how you're able to do business. That really was just so critical for us to have an understanding of what is our environment scape like now, and then what is our desired end state. And that has really put us in a good position, like you said earlier, to be successful in this project.
Yeah, that's great. I appreciate you sharing that advice with everyone out there and on Cloud 9 land. Stephen, well, it was great chatting with you today.
Thank you, Chris. I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
We really appreciate you taking the time away from your busy schedule to share your experiences with us here on Cloud 9. Wish you the best of luck with you and the city on this important initiative. We look forward to having you back on Cloud 9 after your successful go live. Thanks to everyone out there for tuning in. We will see you all next time here on Sierra-Cedar's On Cloud 9.
Thank you.